Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. We are now on Knockout. Upper left-hand corner, we got Metodman starting as the Teal Protoss. Bottom right, we have Ggnore starting as the Industrial Grey Terran. Someone watching this in Hasuleauge, I think I'm insane saying Reaver Zealot should be a thing. I just have this picture in my head of 8 Reavers with just a flood of Zealots in front of them, walking into like a siege tank vulture line, and just throwing out a whole bunch of, just a big splash of explosion in front of them and just clearing the way. I think it could be interesting. The one hard bit of that would just be observers, having vision against, because it's really it's vultures and mines that probably make that completely unfeasible, now that I think about it. Because the more you're working on the robotics to get the Reaver count up, the fewer observers you have out on the field to deal with the vultures and the mines. So I guess the counter to that would just be, if you see it coming, is just mines everywhere. At which point, anyway, I digress. It's probably a bad idea for other reasons too. But I was just trying to think of like, okay, Protoss units that scale, Reavers actually scale in large numbers. It's just a matter of getting them to that count, right? Siege tanks, it's easy to get to that count. Where were we on this topic? Anyway, and I should probably talk about the previous game a little bit. So Ggnore falling to Metodman's 2-gate, proxy 2-gate. Usually if you get that vulture out and you can stay in open space, you can kill a lot of Zealots pretty rapidly. And if you can get a few vultures out, wipe out the Zealots, get mines and wipe out the mid-gate, it kind of can reset things, although the worker count was quite low for Ggnore. As far as a follow, he was down to, I think, 10 SCVs, somewhere around there. As far as the raw count, so it would have been, there was a 5-worker lead for Metodman, but there is some work and in theory, and it still takes micros, the other bit of it is, and it looked like that vulture got surrounded and wiped out. So I'll trust Ggnore to call the GG. Is checking mid-map this time. Wisely so. Is he going to continue? It looks like he's just going to go for a cross-map scout. Assimilator dropping, and Metodman actually queuing up 2 Zealots to start. Wanted to throw it, and this is going to be unfortunate because this is actually pretty great at horizontal and vertical, and I kind of like the play with Knockout having the gutter line, and Marines having a little bit of a harder time coping with this sort of play. But at cross position, there's going to be a lot of time for these Marines and Vulture to get out onto the map to cope with this. I actually was realizing the 3 Marine into Vulture play works really, really well. I mean, I don't think that was the full reason of the meta shift towards the early Vulture, but as far as coping and really swatting down early game Zealots that are trying to create havoc, because there was a period of time in the meta where proxy 1-gate was a thing, where you just proxy a single gateway to kind of slow down the Terran's economy, and you could really wreak a lot of havoc that way. But by going that initial Vulture, you basically end up dealing with the early Zealots. Ooh, Probe getting a good flank on that Marine, but it looks like Ggnore a little bit more prepared this time. He had more space again and time to deal with it. The factory completed, that Vulture now being built, and the Zealot able to get some additional hits and soften up the Marines, but I think the second Zealot's just effectively walking to his demise. The other problem with doing this is you have to be careful, because if enough Marines get constructed and you don't have enough, this slows down Dragoons as well, keep in mind. So this Zealot hiding, well done, Metodman. Might end up with a better situation because he's pocketed this guy. But here's the thing, yeah, if you don't have the follow-up Dragoon, or if that's coming out quite late, you can run into counter situation. Oh, the Zealot going to reveal himself, and keep in mind 2 of these Marines, sorry, all 3 of these Marines have got some damage on them. Is the Zealot going to get another Marine kill? Not quite. Now they will be in the safety of the bunker, smoking cigars and talking about the lives they've led. Vulture will be able to get a probe kill here, but I don't think a lot else, and a scout will be able to confirm the follow-up of 1-gate into robotics. Actually, never mind, getting some additional kills. Where'd the Dragoon go? Dragoon was out of position. Looks like it's drawing back. And Metodman now going to take some early game losses, both having to scatter his workers around. 3 kills already, and that Vulture really delaying Metodman's economy here. That was a lot of lost mining time, and we got, I think, 4 kills, if I kept my brain active right there, in the space of that. SCV's a little bit late to get back to mining. We do have a siege tank being constructed. Ggnore really committed to upgrade Terran again. Granted, he got a few probe hits right there, but trying to think if I feel that not, I'm going to do a map reveal just this is no gas up here. More Vulture. I feel like grabbing this base would be the more advantageous one if you were going flat upgrade Terran. I don't think I like this map as much for upgrade Terran. Mostly because I like the 5 factory play in the mid game. Maybe it'll just turn into +1 and that will be it. We're just looking at fast +1. Siege tank engaging, Dragoon heads up. I love this area outside. I think I've mentioned it previously, but I love the dynamics of this natural expansion on knockout. I think if you just remove the gutter and plop that down anyway, that would be fantastic. Probes again getting assaulted. This time much more rapid to defend themselves. A single mine does plant. Careful, Dragoon. Whoa, Bisu over here. Dragoon pre-occupying. Wow, that's not how I wanted to say that precisely, but already out near the third to maybe get that in place. It looks like we have another fast Reaver play, potentially. Fast Reavers on this map could be interesting. You kind of got this drop area to plop into over in this region. And otherwise, if it's not working out, you can just plop a Mai here, and as long as you have the scouting, you can assault a lot of units as they're making the way out. Engineering Bay floating out. I will be interested to see what this just turns into +1/5, but I think no, we got the starport dropping. This does look like it's going to be straight up upgrade Terran. The issue with upgrade Terran on a map like this is you do need to secure that third, and this third is on any map where that third base is extremely difficult to secure. You're gonna have more trouble than usual. We'll see if Metodman capitalizes on that, or if he tries to go just the normal 3-base upgrade path. Right now, he's not moving out a worker to potentially grab that fourth. As I say that, he's moving out the worker to go ahead and grab that third base, I should say. I said fourth, and I meant third as well. Yeah, I'll just say it. I prefer vultures on this map. 5 factory vulture, just because there's so many just weave points and getting mines along this high ground or harassing along this bridge line and having the threat of siege tanks this direction makes it really worthwhile. Goliath mine turret along the southern edge. The observer should see the entry path, and with that Goliath, let's see if that Reaver just again occupies here. I'd like to see the observer move to the north for the reasons I stated earlier in the game. He's gonna do it. Is he gonna do it? Yeah, just camp it and let that Reaver be on that corner. I'll feel so good if that's the thing. The one thing you have to be careful of is a siege tank right about here. Yeah, okay, he's just gonna plant. Is he gonna go all the way to the high ground, or is he just gonna camp it right on that corner? Just gonna camp it right there. Now, will Metodman go for a fast fourth? That is something Protoss have done with some greed. Against upgrade Terran, it could work pretty well. We do have another dropship being constructed. Ggnore being a little bit greedy with this, actually. So if he moves out with the vultures here, 1, there's a higher probability that it will be scouted. 2, that does count into the siege tank count already. And keep in mind, like I said, he's going to need... what he could do is he could throw out the drop, and while that drop is occupying Metodman's attention, he could try to grab this third. That's another possibility. But I think if Metodman plays it and just, yeah, goes for the usual... I'm really off. I think I'm going off like Zerg timings of the gateway floods, and maybe it's just later. Maybe these guys are just dropping the gateways a little bit later. I guess it's 8 minutes 30. I should trust them more than me because I don't play on the ladder. But going for, it looks like 5 gateways here. Citadel of Adun in the background as well. Observer drawing back right this moment. Also, what path does the observer does it take? It looks like that engineering bay able to see that shuttle, and the shuttle going to scuttle back a little bit. But right now, okay, we are seeing 5 factories plop up for Ggnore. He's got the double supply depot. So the dropship cut into gas count. The double armory is also cut into the gas count. We got +2, no +2 armor queued up as of yet, or +1 armor queued up as of yet, despite that factory being placed. There's the command center being dropped, but you can see we've got, what, 6 siege tanks? 6 siege tanks, 2 Goliaths, and a vulture right this second. Though Metodman sitting on his 5 gateways, in comparison, hasn't really surged to a large count, nor is he moved cross map. I guess it's also cross map, so it might be a little bit easier to execute. And it looks like he is going to go up to 4 bases instead. The point being, I feel like Metodman might have missed an opportunity here, because I think with a heftier worker count on the corner, he would have been able to delay this base quite a while. It looks like the command center about halfway built, but Ggnore already preemptively holding the high ground, getting mines and some other cruft in place. We do have double shuttle. Is the double shuttle just going to bomb into the main? That actually could be successful, considering most of the troops are towards the front and what is intended to be the thirds with speed, so that turret could get wiped out. That mine might create some problems. The Goliaths are completely out of position to absorb this. Now the shuttle's having some trouble finding a drop location. This mine could be disastrous. That could have gone into some SCVs, but a lot of SCVs losing their lives. And SCV damages count for a lot, actually. Reaver is kind of stuck into that pocket here. Ggnore trying to manage a lot of things simultaneously, having trouble getting in place to deal with this. The shuttle dies, but that was as the path was opened up. That's unfortunate. So Metodman got a bit out of that, was able to clear some SCVs out here at the main, which is something. But he still hasn't slowed down this third, but he does have that fourth. Oops, that's not what I want to get rid of. Does have that fourth coming online pretty rapidly here. And he has managed to fill in the gateway count underneath this, has not made his way towards High Temple. Well, he's got the Templar Archives and Citadel of Adun, but we don't see, we do not yet see Psystorm in mass, nor do we see Templar Archives on the way. Or, sorry, Arbiter Tribunal on the way for late game tech. Looks like he's content to just go ahead and saturate that 12. I guess kind of the flip scenario of this is once Ggnore starts moving out onto the map, this is a large space to try to make his way out into. +2 is online, by the way, which will make assaults all the harder here for Metodman. He's got some, is he going to go for it? He's got some units nearby. At this stage, I think this is ill-advised, but he's going for it. Some Zealots make it into the main. Good mine drags. These siege tanks will provide some distance cover. The SCV is going to pull off the line to pull this. Let's see if these troops, come on, get in. Yeah, get in there. This actually might be sufficient. Looks like only Dragoons left, but they've got the high ground. This is what I was talking about earlier. Although Metodman backing up, I think he could win this fight. Doesn't have, oh, it's kind of the cross position. Didn't build reinforcements to run across, so SCVs were emptied briefly, but they're going to fill back in. That does pause the economy a bit, so it's something. But he was like one rally away. Zealot just wandering in to check the situation out. Yeah, he was one rally away, because if you hold this, the high ground to low ground advantage is significant. And you can also create some havoc along the northern area. Now Metodman just donating some troops. I think he recognized, like, oh man, actually, I might have had an opportunity there, and instead eating some damage and peeling back. I think he had a little bit of retreater's remorse there, and was and a Dragoon paid for its life as a result. Still sitting on 6 factory, but look for that to increase shortly. We've got, how many gateways we're looking at? At least 8, 9, 10. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I think there's 11. You count that one up there. Although that one, let's see how active it remains. 61 workers, which is good to work off 4 bases. In the 9 o'clock. A little bit early, but pretty good timing. I feel like 15 minutes is the good time to grab that base, because you inevitably what you're going to want to do is move your workers from the main that direction. And so you don't want to do it too early, right? Vulture's trying to find position to go ahead and assault here. The Dragoons not responding to this rapidly, so might be able to get a handful of probe kills. Mostly targeting the cannons right this second. The Dragoons have made their way. Vultures have this weird thing where they feel simultaneously fragile, but beefy. They can take a number of Dragoon shots. Zealot checking out the top right, might be able to clear things that direction. I almost might have favored dropship nearby. I missed a drop in the midst of this. By the way, apologies everybody. I don't know how successful that drop was. These vultures have no kills. And Metodman's worker count is still very, very high, so I'm going to presume it's not much. That might have delayed the reinforcements, actually, for Metodman earlier, so that also could have been a factor in that previous assault. But anyway, Ggnore, plus 3 weapons, plus 1 armor. In the midst of this, Sidestorm just upgrading. 2 additional gateways, so how many... We're going to go with a slew of gateways. That's the official count. It is a slew. 8. So 8 here, 12, 13, 14 gateways. Gateway Man indeed. Metodman already at max supply. With 63 workers, if he can keep them uncovered. Usually what you want to do is just keep throwing units across the field at this. I think the problem with this is that one, it's cross position, because oftentimes what you want to do with Gateway Man is just be smothering and just be sending assault after assault to whittle down the siege tank count. 2 is there's just it's hard to assault this position right here. If Metodman, however, repositions that army, builds a big bank, builds some refugee stuff, maybe to the top right or bottom left, he needs to cut off this. The 6 o'clock is coming online. I guess that is an aspect. Once you're past the 3rd, grabbing that 6 is much more protected, and then you just have this solid Terran wall to work with. Like this line is very defensible. Wow, that's a lot of mines being drawn in. High Templar not able to land. 4 shuttles. The shuttle's drawing back. Metodman's army getting completely squashed. I don't think he got a kill there. Now down on supply. Also keep in mind that 8 of that supply is occupied in shuttles. So further problems. Vulture's also checking out bottom left. Yeah, I think Ggnore's in a strong position to continue here. Pylon wall going up. Sorry, cannons with a pylon going up top right. Unfortunately, Metodman attacking right at that moment. If he had waited a little bit and waited for Ggnore to move out and unsiege, this might have been the opportunity when he was in no man's land down here to assault from a couple angles if he could. This is not exactly the best assault path though. But basically wait for the unsiege and go instead of going to the fixed position maybe with the shuttles. Could have made something happen, but now Ggnore can just walk up to this bridge line. And once Terran gets to this bridge line and has some tank siege, or gets to the high ground and goes low to high, it's just brutal for Protoss. I do feel like Terran get a little bit obsessed with getting the high ground up here. Some decent bombs, but honestly insufficient. I think that's going to be GG from Metodman. I think they ignore how powerful this section is, especially with the gutter trying to make their way across. But I think Terran, they see this 3rd up here, and they're like, we might as well take out the 3rd and take the high ground from this direction. Right. We're in agreement with ourselves. Alright. Nexus going to drop. Okay, Sidestorm, catching some of the vultures. No mines there on the front. Okay, now some tanks filling into that southern... Oh, Sidestorm just short of a good grouping. Ggnore's supply is now exceeding Metodman's by a large margin. More vultures streaming their way across. And there's still, I think, a full control group. Yeah, full control group of siege tanks. There's GG. Ggnore now up 2-1 in this best of 5. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.